Hi, I'm Dr. David Paprota, Executive Director of Critical Concepts and Strategy, CCS Test Prep, and retired Chief of Police. This video is being dedicated exclusively to the 90-minute NCJOSI examination. This examination is written and administered by Industrial Organizational Solutions, IOS, and is uniquely different, significantly different, than their 2.5-hour exam, their NCJOSI version 2. Completely different exam. So if you're scheduled to take an upcoming exam or going to be testing in the future, and you're presented with a study guide that references IOS, the NCJOSI exam, make sure you distinguish between the 90-minute exam and the 2.5-hour exam. They are completely different tests, and you'll want to prepare differently for each of those two exams. So focusing on the 90-minute exam, it consists of two separate sections. The first part, part 1, is the cognitive section, consists of 45 cognitive questions. The second part is a trait assessment section. These two parts are scored separately. The score comes together to form your composite score, your overall final average. Now, what I've seen consistently from candidates who have taken this exam, keeping in mind this particular construct, the 90-minute IOS exam, this NCJOSI 90-minute version, has been used for decades now, in new forms being created, new versions of it being created, but the same construct, the 45 cognitive questions combined with the 42 trait assessment statements. The company will tell you that the cognitive section consists of reading comprehension, writing ability, problem solving, and mathematics. When you go and take the exam, you're going to see that it's more akin to the first third of the exam. The cognitive section is reading comprehension in different forms. The second third, approximately third, is basically English grammar by way of spelling, English grammar, and some information ordering or sentence ordering. And then when you get to the third part, the final group of questions in the cognitive sections, it's basic mathematics, word problems. So reading comprehension, English grammar and spelling, and then the mathematics word problems are really how you're going to view that part 1. Now, what I see consistently is candidates take this first part for granted. They take it for granted because when you go in and you take a competitive law enforcement examination, you get your score at some point, but you never get to see what you actually got right or wrong. So what have I heard from candidates through the years over and over and over again? I think I got them all right in part 1. It's the trait assessment that's screwing me up. Maybe I got 1, 2, maybe 3 wrong in the first part, but that trait assessment, I think, is what caused me to get a 78. Not happening. What's actually happening, and I know this by way of running formal classes and giving in-class tests to challenge candidates to see how they perform, given 45 cognitive questions of similar nature, to see how they actually perform. What I can tell you is consistently, people are getting 10 to 14 of those cognitive questions wrong. Left to their own devices, they're getting 10 to 14 wrong, leaving the test thinking that of the 45 questions, maybe they got 1 or 2 wrong, maybe 3. I'll get a candidate every once in a while that'll acknowledge maybe they got 3 wrong. Now, this is what I see. On the mathematics end, the final 13 or so questions on the 90-minute version are, in fact, mathematics word problems. It's addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division in very simple form. Yet, what I found is because of the advancements in curriculum technology and the math programs available to students through high school from about 6th grade, the dependence on a calculator has become the norm. So now taking students that have been through the highest level of math, sitting them down and giving them basic math word problems, expecting them to do long-form division, long-form multiplication, addition, subtraction in there as well, in multiple steps, they don't know where to begin. It's a struggle for even the top students to perform well, given those type of questions without any prior practice, exposure, and experience before they sit for the exam. Step back prior to the mathematics is that English grammar / spelling. And I'll have people tell me, well, I'm pretty good at spelling. I think I got the spelling correct. No. People are getting a significant number of the spelling questions incorrect. Keeping in mind, this is a psychometric exam, meaning it's written by test development specialists who have as their field of study and their specialization how to write a test question to challenge you. creating those hurdles you have to jump over, those hoops you have to jump through to get to the correct answer. They specialize in distractors and the way they present wrong answer choices in a way that could lead you to choose it as the correct answer and leave that test believing you got it right when in fact you got it wrong. So that's a specialized area that is predominant in this type of testing. Obviously, these are professional instruments, extremely expensive instruments to administer and purchase on the part of the hiring agency to use to challenge you, to test you, to see who's the best. The spelling. People get them wrong because of the way the questions are formatted, because of the way a word that is commonly misspelled, for instance, C's, probably the simplest version I can give you. The I before E except after C rule doesn't apply to the word C's. It's an exception. So you could see a word like C's within a sentence. Matter of fact, you can get 4 or 5 sentences and the question may ask you, choose the sentence that has a word misspelled within it. And the C answer choice has C's with S-I-E instead of S-E-I. So it's spelled incorrectly in answer choice C. But what they'll do in answer choice A and B is have other words that just appear wrong. An example could be the word benefited with the ED on it. It won't look right to you seeing it with one T. Benefited spelled where it ends with T-E-D may look in fact incorrect when it is the correct spelling. So it's not just the word that's misspelled, it's the other words provided in the other sentences that appear to be wrong when in fact they're spelled correctly. Extremely challenging even to a person that is in tune to spelling and English grammar. They find them very challenging and difficult, while some students go in or candidates go in and are just, for lack of a better term, oblivious to how challenging it really is. Buzz through the exam, think they got it right, and then get a horrible score as a result. So that part 1, reading comprehension, English grammar and spelling, and the mathematics, very challenging. It is essential to get a high score on the 90-minute version, this particular test. You must excel in part 1. Do not underestimate it. Do not take it for granted. Prepare yourself ahead of time with proper test preparation focused on that specific type of exam. Now, when you jump over to part 2, if you've been in the testing arena and taken tests around, this is your first time taking the 90-minute exam, you're in for a surprise. Trade assessment exists as a norm, a standard now in entry-level law enforcement testing. Matter of fact, trade assessment is a norm now in many hiring processes, even in the corporate world. But there is a drastic difference in the types of trade assessment offered. Most are overt. Most provide statements in which you can read it and simply know exactly what it's saying. For instance, I enjoy making new friends. And you have to go from strongly agree at the 1 to strongly disagree at the 5, and you maybe choose strongly agree because you say, yeah, I'm an outgoing person, I like people, I'm social, I enjoy making new friends. That's overt, that's obvious. And then you jump over to trade assessment statements that say something to the effect of, I'm easy to approach but hard to get to know. And you look at that and you say, what does that even mean? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? That's what you can expect on an iOS type trade assessment test. Statements that you read, look at, and you say, I don't really even know what they mean by this. Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know, maybe one part describes me and the other part not so much. Maybe one part describes me 100%, 100% true. The other part is just slightly incorrect. Am I supposed to agree, disagree, strongly disagree? What is appropriate given how I feel about the statement? You're going to be expected to judge how you feel the statement describes you when you're not even going to know what the statement truly means, what its intent and purpose is. So that's where the difficulty comes in with the 90-minute version. This 42 statement trade assessment is extremely challenging, and I can tell you it differs from the other trade assessments on the market today. Meaning that if you've gone in and scored well or reasonably well on a different type of test and you think you're going to use that approach on this particular test and score equally as well or better, it's not going to happen. There's those special challenges. So that's where test preparation comes in as far as giving you an understanding of the trade assessment, for one, because it is an important part of your test, a very important part of your test and your overall score. And just as much on part 1, drilling you and getting you ready helping you enhance your knowledge, skills, and abilities related to the specific types of questions you're going to face, it's invaluable and it makes the difference. Now, the average score, not average score, the high scores on most lists related to the 90-minute version commonly tend to be between an 87 and an 89, just under a 90, tend to be the high scores. In some jurisdictions that are more competitive and are more prepared, you'll see possibly a 90 through maybe even a 94, which is rare on the 90-minute version. So don't have expectations of a 99, 98, 97, 96 that you see from some of these other scaled exams where they distribute the scores up to a 100 or a 99.99. With the 90-minute iOS exam, you can expect to be in a hiring process, move forward, and be competitive. If you can get up and around the 90 range, if you can get above the 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, you could expect to be at the top of the list or among the top few on any list, whether it's thousands of candidates, hundreds of candidates. That's going to put you as an outlier in that testing group. So I hope this information was helpful. If you're going to be taking any entry-level exam coming up, but especially the 90-minute iOS National Criminal Justice Officer Selection Inventory version 1, this NCJOSI exam, make sure you reach out to me. I provide test preparation services throughout the country. I'm based in New Jersey, but I serve throughout the United States. The same tests used in New Jersey are used in Chicago, used in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, used in Norfolk, Virginia. These are national test vendors that use their instruments universally throughout the country. So draw on my expertise in this area. I can help you achieve your career goals and aspirations through proper test preparation. www.ccsTest.com, the info@ccsTest.com are ways to get in contact with me. Also, social media platforms is @CCS Test Prep. So I'm here for you. Don't hesitate to reach out. In your testing future, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.